Hello, my cookies. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I am doing chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to be browning the butter, and there's going to be tons of places for you to put your mark on it. First things first, let's gather our ingredients. You are going to need AP flour, light brown sugar. If you have dark brown, that's fine. I would cut it with a little bit of granulated, do almost like a 50-50. You're going to need some vanilla, chocolate chips, whatever you like. Dark chocolate, semi-sweet, what have you. Chunks, chips. You're gonna need some baking soda, butter, 2 eggs, last but not least, salt. Now that we got our ingredients, let's get started. I'm gonna start with my dry ingredients. I always put those in the smaller bowl because I prefer to add dry to wet. We're gonna get our flour and baking soda together. I'm gonna do about 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, unbleached. You can use bleached, but it'll turn out different. I'm going to do 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, baking soda here. 1/2 teaspoon, whisk it up, aerate that flour, get rid of any lumps. Baking soda nicely dispersed. Got our dry ingredients. Now we are going to turn to our wet ingredients, and that starts with the butter. We are going to brown it up. You're going to need 14 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to brown up 10 tablespoons of it. Let's move over to our stove. I got a 10-inch regular skillet over here, and I'm just going to brown it up. 10 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to start it over medium-high heat. I'm probably going to drop it down to medium. We'll see. As it melts and as that water starts evaporating, it's going to splutter and whatnot. And this is where you need to be paying attention. You need to be swirling that pan. That's what will prevent just complete chaos and disarray and a greasy stovetop. So none of that. I got to swirl. So you can see here, the water is cooking off. We're getting a sizzle, but it's not spluttering as much. Good. I'm going to still swirl. You want this, it's going to start turning brown. That's great. We might get it off the heat. There's going to be carryover cooking. We don't want burnt solids. That'll make these cookies not as great. So you can see in here, see I got brown solids there at the bottom. They're getting towards the edge. We are going to get this off, get it into this pan so no carryover cooking turns them black. Get them out. Get all, you see all these solids there? I'm going to try and get as much out as I can. All these, ooh, super caramelized deliciousness. Now you can drop the remaining 4 tablespoons in the pan if you want. I didn't have it ready, so I'm dropping it in the bowl here. And we're just going to let that kind of melt itself. Next up, I like to use light brown sugar. If you only have dark brown, cut it with some granulated. I think light brown is going to be perfect. You can do about 1 1/4 cups of light brown sugar here, and it's going to go in with the butter. We're going to whisk this up. We're going to melt the butter. You see how brown it is? Not really clear anymore. We've gotten rid of all of that water. We've browned up the milk solids. Now, this is the spot where if you want to add some spices or seasoning, like if you wanted to put some chai spice in here or pumpkin pie spice or even just a little bit of cinnamon, this is the place to do it. You got hot butter. Even though I just stopped the cooking and cooled it down a bit, it's still warm enough. It's going to bloom those spices. Add those in here. I'm not going to do that, but I think if you start with maybe 1/2 or 1 teaspoon, I think that's going to be plenty for all these cookies, and I'll really punch it up. And that's one way you can make it your own. So we're going to add our sugar, 1 1/4 cups here. I'm just going to whisk it all up. Next up, we are going to get our salt, our eggs, and our vanilla extract. If you know me, I love my vanilla extract. I'm going to use a tablespoon. You can use 2 teaspoons. You can go 4 teaspoons, whatever you want. I'm going to do, maybe I'll do 4. I like it. I love vanilla. All right, so I got my tablespoon of vanilla extract in here. I'm going to do 1 egg, 1 egg yolk. Now the egg yolk's just going to add a little bit of richness here. That'll be nice. And it's also going to help me emulsify this butter. So I get all this nice and smooth, which is what I want. I don't want it kind of curdled looking as it is now. Preheat your oven, 375 degrees. Get the rack in the middle. Get back to this. All right, we got our eggs in here. We also have to get our salt. I am using kosher salt here. I kind of like a big bite of salt with these. If you're using table, maybe do 3/4 teaspoon. I'm going to be doing a heaping teaspoon here. Kind of like that salty sweet here with the cookies. Again, this is a place where you can leave your mark. Now I'm going to whisk this up. I need to get it smooth. It's nice and homogenized. I'm probably putting in between 1 1/2 cups and 2 cups of chocolate chips here. I like it extra chocolatey. I'm not adding the chocolate chips with the flour because I want to stir that as little as possible. Flour is coming in last here. Now we have our flour, baking soda mixture. Adding it here, and I'm just going to stir it until there's no dry streaks of flour. This is very nice. It's exactly what I want to see here. Next up, we got to get in our oven. I have my baking sheet over here. I have lined it with some tin foil, some aluminum foil. Now this will just keep it from sticking and ruining my sheet. I like it, and maybe helps with transferring. I am going to have more cookies than I could fit on one tray. So if you do 2 trays, that's great. I might refrigerate this and save it for later and freeze it, and then I'll have some extra cookies later in the week. So I'm going to start. I'm probably going to try and do about 3 tablespoons, so a scant 1/4 cup here per cookie. I'm going to roll it into a ball. This stuff is room temp. If it was from the refrigerator, I might press them a little flat. I'm not going to. So that'll mean they'll melt out. I'll get a good kind of ring around the edge, and I'll get a good sized cookie here. All right, so let's do it. You don't want to get them too close together. Remember, they're going to spread. Put them in the oven, 375, middle rack. This is maybe 10 to 15 minutes cook range. I'm going to check them at 10. I'm going to rotate halfway through. I fully expect them to take about 12 minutes. Ah, yeah, look at these. Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. So yeah, maybe I won't check them at 10 minutes. I'll check them at the 12-minute mark, which is about 5 minutes from now. I want to get some good browning. They're melting. The edges are starting to kind of form. We're going to get some really nice, thick, chewy, deeply flavored cookies. I can't wait for these. Ah, yes. Look at these. Let's see how the edges are. They're firming up. I only let these cool briefly, but these look stunning. Look at that craggly top. Oh, I gotta get these over here. I gotta eat them. These are amazing, I gotta say. And they're so easy. I mean, the most complex thing I did was brown the butter, and that took, what, 2 minutes? Look at this. Got small chocolate chips. I love that. So they're spread throughout. I don't know if you can hear. The outside is crusty. And then we got a nice chewy. Oh, this is so good. You know, with brownies, how you kind of get that craggly top? It's kind of like shiny. That's what we got going on here. You can see the shine. And that's because we used all that butter, but we just used essentially the butter, the oil from the butter. You got this craggly, crisp exterior, soft and chewy and warm and gooey interior. What's not to like? So much nuttiness from that brown butter. That's the only word for it, is nuttiness. It is. And the vanilla really just kind of carrying. It's like the track on a roller coaster, kind of guiding it. I love these. These are fantastic. When I first opened that oven and I saw them, it was like watching your prom date descend the stairs while you're waiting for them. It was just absolute glory. I opened it and it was like, ah. Thank you, everyone. That's it. That's the recipe. Brown butter cookies. Make them your own. Well, that's it. That's our cookies. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget, you can follow me on YouTube, Twitch. I also have Instagram, Twitter, and I'm on TikTok. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Russell Cooks. I'll see you next time. Take care.